Leo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what the energy is around Leo for the week ahead. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keeping in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements for a more complete picture. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, let's get started for Leo. What is the current energy surrounding Leo for the week ahead? Okay, well, that came out quick. We've got No Place Like Home and the Fates, both coming out in the reversed position. So what that tells me, my Leo friends, is that right now you may be sort of feeling this guidance to do something that feels outside of the comfort zone. You're sort of being guided here with this No Place Like Home card in reverse to do the unfamiliar. So if you're faced with a situation and you're wondering how to proceed, it's almost like do what would be the opposite of what you might normally do, or what you would do that would feel like the comfortable or safe choice. It's almost like you're being guided here to disturb some patterns and to shift into perhaps a different paradigm when it comes to what's comfortable and what's uncomfortable. You may need to get comfortable with what's uncomfortable in the upcoming energy this week. Now, seeing this Fates card in reverse tells me that you may not see something coming. You may be you may not be expecting a turn of events here. You may not be expecting something that is going to put you in a space where you might need to be sort of doing something that you're not familiar with. You might not see that coming. It might kind of appear out of the blue, and you might be sort of surprised by it, to say the least. It's definitely something it's not something that you see at this time as moving into your energetic space. But it's interesting. It's almost like you're being guided to this mysterious circumstance that could change how you respond to a challenge, or how you respond to a situation where you really just need to surrender. And that might be the uncomfortable part of this, is that you might be more comfortable, Leo, by sort of trying to control how things come out in the end. And it's almost like you're going to come into a situation here where your comfort will say, I want to control this. But once you surrender that and sort of take the more unfamiliar path, it's almost as if that sort of brings you to a place of surrender and acceptance, which may feel a little uncomfortable or unfamiliar because it's not the path you would normally take. Now, let's see what messages you'll receive from the tarot deck to expand on this energy of surrender and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and sort of this unseen, unexpected energy coming in to create the opportunity for you to make a different choice. Very interesting. Let's see here for Leo. All right, so we're seeing the Three of Wands coming out with the Ten of Cups. So this is very interesting. This is a moment where it's like you're going to experience something that is going to create a lot of emotional fulfillment and balance for you. And it's almost like when I see the Ten of Cups and this rainbow imagery, it always makes me think of, what do we associate with rainbows? Usually rainbows come after a storm. So that tells me that you might have had a stormy period that's about to pass. It's also sort of a feeling of balance when I see a rainbow, thinking about the chakras, for example, and seeing that rainbow shining so brightly, all the colors being represented sort of makes me feel like you're in alignment, you're in a new state of balance, and the result of that is a lot of emotional fulfillment. So this sort of idea that you don't see something coming makes me wonder about this Three of Wands, that you might be surprised by what shows up. Here in the Three of Wands, you're anticipating and you're expecting a certain outcome. And I feel like you might be surprised at just how fulfilled you're going to feel by stepping outside of that comfort zone, which is really the Two of Wands. And we're seeing the Three of Wands. So it's interesting. It's almost like you've already made the decision and now you're about to see how it's going to play out differently, and seeing this intense emotional satisfaction, this feeling of emotional fulfillment, balance, the way that you feel after a storm, and you can smell the freshness of the rain, and you feel that, oh, okay, the worst is over kind of energy is really showing up for you here, Leo. And there's the Eight of Cups in the reverse. So that's the part where it's going to be an unfamiliar path, and you're going to have to sort of leave behind some old ways of doing things. Even if you feel a strong emotional connection to these ways of doing things because you've been doing it that way for so long, it's that I think is going to be the challenge for you, is to sort of sit in a new energetic space that, albeit unfamiliar, is actually moving you towards a new landscape of emotional fulfillment. But I think the journey of getting there lies on the path least traveled. Seeing the Queen of Swords here at the sort of final position in your reading makes me think that you're ready for something that's true. I think you're seeking a true, authentic pathway for yourself. And that might in it of itself have been the energy that sort of brought in that storm, that we're seeing the outcome of that storm is going to be very emotionally fulfilling. But the idea here is the departure from the familiar. And seeing the world in reverse tells me that this could be an opportunity for you to close a cycle, but there's also the possibility or the potential for you to resist a little bit. We're seeing that here in the Eight of Cups and in the World card. So Leo, it's going to serve you to be open to feeling uncomfortable this week. It's going to serve you to sort of disturb some patterns that feel familiar and like what you would do. You might do something different in its place, and you might already be sort of feeling like the same solutions are not going to be useful for the obstacles that you will face coming up. That in order to overcome these obstacles, your best sort of guidance or your highest guidance from this reading is to choose an unfamiliar way of doing things and to leave behind patterns of sort of feeling things in a certain way behind, and to really focus on this idea of trusting yourself and not feeling stuck, right? To let the momentum of the unfamiliar take you to where it wants to take you. Don't resist it. Allow this sort of new way of doing things to serve you. And it's interesting because the World card in reverse can sometimes make me feel like we're looking for shortcuts, or we're sort of focusing on completing the task instead of the journey that we're on. You're sort of trying to race to the end of the book without sort of going through the whole novel. Do you know what I mean? And it can be a time where we are sort of being guided to a new level of awareness. And I feel like that's what's happening for you, that you're being guided to a new level of awareness, and that it will bring in a lot of feelings of abundant success, emotional fulfillment, achievement, wholeness, maybe even changing landscapes completely. You might find yourself moving in the future. But for this week, without jumping ahead too far, it feels like your best guidance, your highest guidance, is to sort of surrender the idea of needing to know how things are going to go and to control the process. This is about allowing things to move in the direction that serves your highest good, and to follow that, to really allow the energy to manifest towards your highest good, even if that means leaving your comfort zone and the familiar way of doing things. Very interesting reading for you this week, Leo. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care, my friends.